Gaspard Thomas Ulliel was a French actor. He was known for having portrayed the young Hannibal Lecter in Hannibal Rising, fashion designer Yves Saint Laurent in the biopic Saint Laurent, and for being the face of Chanel men's fragrance Bleu de Chanel for 12 years. He also voiced Jack Frost in the French version of Rise of the Guardians, and portrayed Anton Magard in the Disney and miniseries Moon Knight. Ulliel made his feature film debut in Brotherhood of the Wolf, and had his breakthrough in Strayed. He was nominated for the César Award for Most Promising Actor for 3 consecutive years for his performances in Summer Things, Strayed, and A Very Long Engagement, winning that award in 2005 for his performance as World War I soldier Manik in A Very Long Engagement. In 2015, he earned his first César nomination for Best Actor for his performance in Saint Laurent. In 2017, he won the César Award for Best Actor for his role as a terminally ill playwright in It's Only the End of the World. He became a Knight of the Order of Arts and Letters in France in 2015. His other notable works include The Last Day, Paris, Jetma, Jacques le Croquant, The Princess of Montpensier, To the Ends of the World, and Twice Upon a Time. Ulliel died on January 19, 2022 at the age of 37, following a skiing accident at La Rosière Resort in Savoy, France. Early life. Ulliel was born in the Paris suburb of Neuilly-sur-Seine to Christine, a stylist and runway show producer, and Serge Ulliel, a fashion designer. Ulliel was an only child. His great-grandfather, Raoul Ulliel, was a bronzesmith who distinguished himself in combat during World War I. His paternal grandmother was of Italian and Spanish descent. He had a scar on his left cheek as a result of a Doberman attacking him with its claws when he attempted to ride the dog like a horse at the age of 6. He once quipped that the scar increased his emotional acting abilities because it looked like a dimple. His obituary in the French newspaper Libération described him as having the most famous scar in French cinema. Ulliel attended the bilingual school École Jeanine Manuel in Paris where he learned English. Ulliel wanted to be a jazz musician and even tried playing the saxophone for a couple of years, but he quit because he thought he wasn't talented. He also learned how to play the piano. He was also interested in architecture and photography. He dreamed of becoming a film director and attended the University of Saint-Denis in Paris, where he studied cinema for 2 years until he quit to focus on his acting career. Early work and breakthrough. Ulliel began acting while he was still at school, at 11 years old, when a friend of his mother was working at an agency and was looking for young actors. She asked Ulliel if he wanted to give it a try and he said yes, but just for fun. It was only after he turned 17 that he really decided to continue working in this industry. He left the University of Saint-Denis after 2 years because he was getting more offers as an actor, but he still dreamed about writing and directing his own film, stating in a 2011 interview for Anthem magazine, "I wake up every morning with this idea stuck in my mind that I want to write and direct my own film one day. As I work more and more on different sets, I see how hard it is to be a director. It's insane the amount of work and confidence that goes into it. I'm so respectful of filmmakers and I admire what they do. I hope that one day I'll find the right subject and the confidence to try it. I'm still young." He made his acting debut with a small part in one episode of Un Femme en Blanc, a 1997 miniseries for French television starring Sandrine Bonnaire. He continued appearing in made-for-television films and TV series during the late 1990s and early 2000s, and then became known as a film actor in France. In 2001, Ulliel made his feature film debut with a minor role in Christophe Ganz's Brotherhood of the Wolf, alongside Vincent Cassel and Monica Bellucci. In 2002, Ulliel played the role of Loic in Michel Blanc's romantic comedy-drama film Summer Things, for which he earned his first César Award nomination for Most Promising Actor, as well as winning the Lumiere's Award for Most Promising Actor. He also performed at the drama school Cours Florent, where he was discovered by director André Techine, who cast him in the lead role of his World War II drama film Straight in 2003, starring opposite Emmanuelle Béart as a mysterious teenager who protects her family. For his breakthrough performance in the film, Ulliel was nominated for a César Award for Most Promising Actor, and won the Étoiles d'Or for Best Male Newcomer. A very long engagement / English language films and stage debut. None. Yves Saint Laurent / and It's Only the End of the World / None. Last roles in unfinished projects. In January 2021, he was a member of the jury of the Gardmer Fantasy Film Festival in France. Between April and May 2021, Ulliel filmed Alex Lutz and Arthur Sanagud's La Vengeance au Triple Galop, a comedy TV film for France's Canal+, where he appeared as plastic surgeon Danley Marshall Widkins opposite Marion Cotillard and Audrey Lamy. This was Ulliel's last film to be released during his lifetime, and it was broadcast by Canal+ on October 4, 2021. In June 2021, Ulliel finished shooting his penultimate film More Than Ever, directed by Emily Atef, which made its world premiere at the Cannes Film Festival on May 21, 2022. In July 2021, Ulliel joined the cast of the Disney and streaming superhero miniseries Moon Knight, set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and released on March 30, 2022. He portrayed the villain Anton Magart / Midnight Man opposite Oscar Isaac, Ethan Hawke, and May Kalamai, guest starring in the episode The Friendly Type. Ulliel voiced the doll Scott in Bertrand Bonello's hybrid live-action and animation film Coma, which had its world premiere at the Berlin Film Festival, where it competed in the Encounters section on February 12, 2022, marking it as the first film released after Ulliel's death. Bonello said on December 24, 2021 that he had just finished filming Coma, which makes it the last film that Ulliel filmed. But Ulliel's presence in Coma was kept a secret until it was selected for the Berlin Film Festival in February 2022. He was also set to collaborate for the third time with Bonello in the science fiction film The Beast, co-starring with Léa Seydoux. Shooting was scheduled to start in April 2022. In December 2021, Ulliel started shooting Ticoun, a Canal+'s crime thriller miniseries about the carbon tax fraud, where he would play a character inspired by French businessman Arnaud Montmorin. In January 2022, Ulliel was on a break from shooting Ticoun, when he died after a skiing accident. The production was directed by Xavier Giannoli, still had 84 more days of shooting, and Ulliel was expected to return to the set on January 24. On February 18, 2022, Canal+ confirmed to France's Le HuffPost that actor Niels Schneider will replace Ulliel in the miniseries. Ulliel and Schneider were friends and co-stars in the films One Nation, One King, and Sybil. Other endeavors. In 2003, at the age of 19, Ulliel walked the runway for the first and only time for Hedi Slimane's Dior Homme Autumn/Winter 2003 fashion show entitled Luster. In 2007, Ulliel appeared on the cover of the February issue of French Vogue with supermodel Doutzen Kroos. In 2008, Ulliel was the face of Longchamp, a French leather and luxury goods company, along with Kate Moss. Bleu de Chanel campaigns. Ulliel was announced as the face for Chanel new men's fragrance, Bleu de Chanel, on February 16, 2010, making him Chanel's first male ambassador. His first television commercial for the campaign was directed by Martin Scorsese, filmed in New York City and debuted on August 25, 2010. Ulliel's second commercial for Bleu de Chanel was directed by James Gray and released on February 5, 2015. It was filmed in Los Angeles and featured Jimi Hendrix's cover of Bob Dylan's All Along the Watchtower. In 2016, Ulliel became the face of Chanel's first men's watch, Monsieur de Chanel. His third commercial for Bleu de Chanel was released on June 1, 2018 and was directed by Steve McQueen. Shot in Bangkok and London, it featured Ulliel crossing the city looking for a woman while David Bowie's Starman plays in the background. In June 2020, Ulliel narrated the last episode of the Chanel Parfumeur series, I Am a Fragrance Trail, in both French and English. Ulliel was the face of Bleu de Chanel for 12 years. His last campaign for the fragrance was released on December 8, 2020. Upon his death, Chanel released a statement on their official Instagram and Facebook accounts paying tribute to him. Chanel also paid tribute to Ulliel during their spring/summer 2022 Haute Couture show at Paris Fashion Week on January 25, 2022. A model dressed as a bride finished the show by holding a bouquet of camellias, Coco Chanel's favorite flower-tinted midnight blue, as a nod to Ulliel and the Bleu de Chanel perfume. In the media, Ulliel's androgynous look in films such as 2003's Strayed, 2006's Paris, JETMA, and his performance as Yves Saint Laurent in the 2014 film Saint Laurent, turned him into a gay icon. In January 2007, Ulliel was included on the Washington Post's What's In and Out for 2007 list in the In category. In June 2007, Ulliel was ranked number 12 on France's Elle magazine's 15 Sexiest Men poll. On Season 4, Episode 5 of Call My Agent, Sigourney Weaver wants Ulliel to be cast as the male lead in her upcoming film. On January 24, 2022, he jumped from number 8,979 to number 1 on IMDb's Star Meter chart based on page views following his death. Personal life. Ulliel dated French actress and singer Cécile Cassel from 2005 to 2007, and Chanel's then international VIP relations officer, Jordan Crantelli, from 2008 to 2011. He was in a relationship with French model and singer Gaëlle Pietri from 2013 to 2020, with whom he had a son who was born in January 2016. In 2012, Ulliel donated the coat he had worn in the 2010 Bleu de Chanel commercial to be auctioned off for the Vestiaire Solidaire campaign in support of the French Telethon and the French Muscular Dystrophy Association. In July 2015, he was made a Chevalier of the Order of Arts and Letters in France. Death. On January 18, 2022 at around 4 p.m., Ulliel was critically injured while skiing at the La Rosière resort in Savoy, France, when he collided with another skier at an intersection between two blue/intermediate slopes after turning left, presumably to join his friends on an adjoining slope, and suffered serious brain trauma. Ulliel was airlifted by helicopter to the trauma unit of the Centre Hospitalier Universitaire Grenoble-Alpes in nearby La Tronque, where he died the following day around 4 p.m. at the age of 37. According to French magazine Paris Match, Ulliel arrived brain dead at the hospital. An investigation indicated that both skiers fell to the ground after the collision, and that Ulliel was motionless and unconscious when rescuers arrived. The director of the La Rosière resort, Jean Rigaldo, told France's BFM TV that Ulliel was not wearing a helmet when rescuers arrived. Helmets are not required on French ski slopes. Rigaldo also said weather conditions were perfect at the time of the accident and that there were no rocks in the area of the collision, which he described as easily accessible. The other skier, a Lithuanian man in his 40s, was wearing a helmet and was not injured. He told the investigators that the collision was not too violent. Upon hearing the Lithuanian skier and other eyewitnesses of the accident, the public prosecutor of Albertville, Anne Gatches, stated that wearing a helmet would not necessarily have changed things, and that it was not noted excessive speed, inappropriate behavior, or fault of one of the two skiers. Following their testimonies, the prosecutor also declared that the two skiers evolved side by side and ran into each other. For the moment, it is difficult to say whether it was the shock or the fall that led to Mr. Ulliel's death, she said. Gatches also stated that no autopsy would be performed on Ulliel's body. The resort offered psychological support for both the Lithuanian skier, who was very shocked, and for Ulliel's relatives. Ulliel was on vacation at the resort with his ex-girlfriend, Gaëlle Pietri, and their 6-year-old son. On January 27, 2022, a memorial service for Ulliel was held at the Church of Saint Eustache in Paris. It was attended by nearly 1,000 people, including his family, friends, and CO stars such as Audrey Tautou, Marion Cotillard, Louis Garrel, Jeremy Renier, Isabelle Huppert, Vincent Linden, Niels Schneider, Natalie Bay, Leah Seydoux and Vincent Cassel. He was buried in a private ceremony at the Père Lachaise Cemetery in Paris. The La Rosière resort also paid tribute to Ulliel by symbolically stopping the ski lifts for 1 minute in tribute to him at 3:58 p.m., which was the time of his accident on January 18. Tributes. Among those who paid tribute to Ulliel following his death were France's President Emmanuel Macron, who described Ulliel as an icon of French elegance who dazzled the cameras, France's Prime Minister Jean Castex, and France's Culture Minister Roselyne Bachelot, as well as peers and collaborators such as Xavier Dolan, Martin Scorsese, Marion Cotillard, Isabelle Huppert, Juliette Binoche, Chanel, Disney, Cannes Film Festival director Thierry Frémaux, Cannes Film Festival president Pierre Lescure, Jean Dujardin, Peter Weber, Pierre Niney, Louis Garrel, André Techine, and Bertrand Bonello. On February 25, 2022, the 47th César Awards ceremony opened with a tribute video to Ulliel featuring his last scene in the 2016 film It's Only the End of the World, and a message on the screen that read, "This ceremony is dedicated to Gaspard Ulliel." Later in the evening, Xavier Dolan, who directed Ulliel in It's Only the End of the World, paid a tribute to him in the form of a letter addressed to Ulliel's mother, which he finished by saying, "Because a mother's love is stronger than anything. I believe it. Stronger than life. Stronger than art itself. And certainly stronger than death." Dolan's speech was followed by the ceremony's in memoriam segment, which also began with a tribute to Ulliel featuring scenes from the films A Very Long Engagement and Saint Laurent. On February 27, 2022, Ulliel was honored in the in memoriam segment from the 28th SAG Awards ceremony, which featured his last scene in A Very Long Engagement. Despite not being mentioned during the Oscars in memoriam segment on March 27, 2022, Ulliel was included in the online memorial from the official website of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences among other artists who had died recently. On April 13, 2022, that week's episode of the Marvel Studios miniseries Moon Knight, which featured Ulliel guest starring in the role of Anton Magart, was dedicated to his memory with a tribute in the end credits. Marvel Studios also shared a tribute to Ulliel on their social media. Aftermath. Following Ulliel's death, politicians and ski professionals urged for helmets to be made obligatory on the French slopes. Jean-Marc Pelax, the mayor of Saint-Gervais-les-Bains in Haute-Savoie, stated that they must impose helmet wearing to reduce the risk of serious accidents and also re-examine on a case-by-case basis the dangerousness of different pistes and potentially reclassify their colors. When asked if helmets should be made compulsory for skiing in France like they are in other European countries during a press conference on January 20, 2022, government spokesperson Gabriel Attal said that it was not the moment to begin a debate around the subject. It was reported that 97% of children under the age 12 do wear a helmet in France, but the National Mountain Safety Observation System noted that this percentage decreases as people get older. The Canadian Medical Association Journal estimates that wearing a helmet reduces the risk of head injury by 35%. Ulliel's death caused a rise in the number of ski helmet sales in France. On February 19, 2022, Ulliel's ex-girlfriend, Gaël Pietri, announced that the family wanted to honor his memory by contributing to the French non-governmental organization Terra Ocean Foundation, which has the mission of raising awareness about the impact of climate change and the current ecological crisis on the oceans. Pietri said, Gaspard was a diver, sensitive to climate issues and concerned about the protection of underwater biodiversity. He would have liked the momentum generated by his death to go to the defense of these causes that were close to his heart. A special page was opened on the Foundation's website in memory of Ulliel to support this cause. Filmography: Film, Television, Theatre.